All right, Shalom. Call I'm like Yahweh Bashmi Al Shai. Yahweh Shai. Um, so I'm back with another new reports of prophecy. All right, or news reports of prophecy. And I want to just pretty much address something I spent the hour doing. Satan, deleted, maybe due to my lack of, not giving place to Satan to where he could, make a way to where that could happen. My device was backed up, computer of space, but nonetheless, I'm back, and I just want to touch on pretty much these prophecies that's unfolded, um, according to this news that just came out, and that's simply how the elite bankers, the so-called white man, is completely uh, he's completely performing a complete act of treason, as all has been stated, pronounced over and over and over. He's completely collapsing the economy, and it's gonna cause people that trusted in him to be asked out, to be completely, dislodged and displaced from their pride, from their homes, from their investments, everything, you know, dislodged from this completely out of the way. And then ultimately is going to result in him into his own world simultaneously by doing this, because these people are going to get him. And chiefly, the Lord is going to allow that to be the case through our people, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians that's been invested. So the so-called white man is ending his own world. He's collapsing the economy, which is going to bring an end to, and it's bringing an end to America as you know it. It's happening right before your eyes. So I just want to try to pretty much bring out everything obviously relating to this, but which I brought out already. So I have a few scriptures. Pretty much know everything I went over, but it's not a script. It's all through the spirit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the book of Habakkuk. All right, Habakkuk 2. Just want to hit this point real quick. It says the judgment upon the Chaldean for greed, which is what this situation, this inflation, which is what is being talked about in this video, is concerns. The inflation being the way in which the so-called white man is completely, through these elite bankers, they're completely collapsing. The economy. They're collapsing the dollar. They're collapsing the society. As people knew it. To ultimately try to keep everything, to keep themselves in power, which is basically stealing from everybody. Making a way for the poor to get poor and the rich to get richer. Was simply by, keeping everything for themselves while lying to people and collecting everything for themselves. That's what's really simply going on. So this is Habakkuk 2, say he try to take the spirit, he can't do that, but, back during the lesson, man. Enduring all things for the elect's sake. This is Habakkuk 2, ultimately because the Lord put the spirit back on me to do this again. So this is Habakkuk 2, and I'm going to start at the point, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So pretty much these elite bankers, they are setting the stage, setting away the traps, these events, staging these events to make a way to keep their grip on the earth, right? To try to keep their time going, to pretty much uh, end or stop what could stop them from ruling and maintaining, which is getting rid of people, man. So they've been doing this in their way, which is all in the scriptures. They're doing this is being revealed. It's being revealed here. They're doing it through these different events that pretty much they stage, which is these pandemics, the inflation, which is supposedly due to war, which they fund all of this stuff, you know, and they lie to people about why they doing what they doing, because it's for actual a whole nother reason, and then it's some of the stuff they telling people they doing, they're not even doing. The stuff they telling people going on is not going on, you know. It's just all lies. It's just for them to keep themselves in power. You can read that in Wisdom of Solomon in the second chapter. So jumping back here, verse 6, and we're going to hit play on this. It says, so woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? So yeah, these they're just they're creating a way to collapse on these people and to take everything for themselves, but it's all going to backfire. The so-called white man is currently ending his own world. He don't even know it. He think this is his way to keep himself in power, but he don't understand the thoughts of the Lord, man, by any means. What's that? Is that Hosea no, that's not Hosea the fourth chapter. That's Micah the fourth chapter. These people don't understand the thoughts of the Lord, man. The Lord said He's gonna pour out vengeance, or paraphrasing upon the enemy, the heathen, in a way that they have never heard before, man. All right, tell you that in the last verse of Micah, the fourth chapter, or Micah the fifth chapter, I believe. All right, and that's what this is going into. It said a time is going to come where everybody is going to go against the so-called white man. These elite bank ultimately, who's just really, taking it, going at which is due to the so-called, the elite, the top so-called like white man, the elite bankers. All right, because they stole everything. This is seen, and this collapsing of the dollar, the collapsing of the economy, is all staged, but it's all for him to end himself. But while he thinks it's all for him, for his gain. So as it says, how long unto him that ladeth himself with thick clay, that thick clay going to death? Shall not they rise up that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? So ultimately it's going to backfire, because everybody that's afflicted is going to get a chance to be put over him, because his world is at the end. And this takes you back. This makes me think of where the Lord said, Dan, because he did all of this by stealing America, all right, which is collapsing right now. He did all of this by stealing America. Understand that America was stolen and set up, was originally, and it was named after, Salakia. It was named after the Amerigo Vespucci, the so-called white man himself, right? A conquistador did basically, right, through, and went on to, the likes of this is how you get all that played a part, and how you got the Christopher Columbus, the Cristobal Colon, who people know as Cristobal Columbus situation, and everything America went on to be from there, as far as the history you hear, right? Going on to the 13 colonies that was set up, which goes back to the 13 bloodlines, over there from Europe, which goes into those elite banking families. They set all this up, right? Not going to the book of Revelation. But whole point, they pretty much procured everything to themselves, and are procuring everything to themselves through these events that they stage, through these devices that they imagine, these schemes, right, just to keep themselves in power. But it's all written. It was always written to be the very way they will go down, backfire. So they really destroying themselves right now, and they don't even have a clue. That's what's crazy about it. You know, I want to get this. I had this in. I just had it pulled up. I want to get this in Genesis. Genesis 49. All right. Let me see if I can grab this. Say, man. So I'm going to try to keep this short to the point. All right. This is Genesis 49 and 16. It says, right, because, like I said, at the end, he was written at the beginning. He was written to do all this, but at the end, everything's going to backfire on him, which is through his own ways, man. And that reminded me of, like the Lord said at the like how America was taken. You know, obviously from our people, the Northern Kingdom, so-called Latinos and Native American Indians. The Lord said, "A troop shall overcome Gad, but at the end he shall overcome." Right, and that's exactly what Habakkuk is telling us. But it also says, when you go back to I don't know why this is doing this. It's crazy. Yeah, bear with me. Let me see something. It shouldn't be doing this. It's not giving me the option to go back or forth. All right. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just get another tab. Get my computer right, so I should have enough space. This is Habakkuk 2. As you see, the judgment upon the Chaldean for greed. The Chaldean being the so-called white people, so-called white man, right, for greed. But that's going into the elite bankers, because who could really be the epitome of the greedy of the so-called white people? The elite bankers, the ones that got the whole earth in their hands, man. And so that's who this is addressing. Because every so-called white person ain't even on that level, right? You got two-time losers, as, you know, brothers like to say. So when you read Habakkuk 2 and 6 one more time, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. That's the dang so-called American white man, right? The Edomite, which is America really ran by, you know, Europe, which is where the elite bankers are at, right? Stationed, basically. But nonetheless, and that ain't to say, well, give you idea of this brothers pushing like, you know, Europe is Babylon, or the Vatican is Babylon. No, not saying that. That's just the truth. America got set up from Europe. That's the history of it. But anyway, it says, let me see. When you read on, it says, shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? There it is. So that takes me to what? Genesis in the 49th chapter and the 16th verse. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. So Dan, we know, got amalgamated, basically mingled in or mixed amongst the other tribes, but nonetheless, this is still a prophecy, right? Dan basically at this point just represents Israel. So it says, Dan shall be a serpent by the way, which the Lord told us to be. He told us to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So that's the spirit, right? And adder in the path that biteth the horse heels, and that heel goes into Esau. The heel goes into Esau. The horse goes into Esau. You got the horse being a red horse, the pale horse, the black horse, the red horse being the one that was written to take peace and from the earth, by all the war and violence. The black horse being the famine. You know what I'm saying? Slavery that we were put under. Also the rationing of food due to the greed of the so-called the spiritual Chaldean, right? The so-called white man, and then the pale horse, pretty much being more destruction, man. But anyway, so when you read also when you go into the word that hill, that it say that Jacob held first the hill of Esau. See that? So that in the hill and the horse is also said to be one of power, in power. The horse being basically alluding to the scriptures that tell you in Proverbs the horse is prepared for battle, for the day of battle, right? But safety is of the Lord. So who better than to fit that than so-called white man? See that? So it says, so that his rider fall back. So Dan shall be a serpent by the way. This was said to happen in the last days when you jump up. That's what's spiritual about this. When you read verse 1, yeah, and it came to pass after these things that one Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. No, that's not. I jumped up too far. Salaki. 49:1. Jacob calls his sons to bless him, and Jacob called his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days, which we are in now. All right. So this prophecy will have to be playing out, man. See that? So this verse 16 again. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider falleth backward. So it's basically like you can't see. You're not going to see Dan coming, which is spiritual, because Dan got amalgamated. But Dan is still Israel, and that's how it's going to be. You ain't going to see Israel coming. You're not going to see Gad coming, right? When you read verse 19, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. And that troop was Esau, man. To keep it simple. All right. So that's basically that, man. So that's that horse. When you go back to Habakkuk 2, it says what? It said in verse 7, shall not they rise up that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because for all the things that he have done, for the greed, right? The power that he procured unto himself, he kept for himself, he stole, he put himself in, a position that was not given unto him. It's all going to come back and backfire, because he's going to expose himself in the end of the last days. The so-called white man, these elite bankers, going into Jeremiah 49:10, he said he's going to make Esau bare. And that's prophecy. Esau is making himself bare in these these few videos I have pulled up. They completely have staged and devised these things that are going on, man. Completely. For their own gain, and try to extend their time, continue their reign. And it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, right? And that the main people that's going to spoil you is the Israelites. And that's the remnant that you need to be concerned with. All right? That's the remnant. Because of men's blood, right? Blood shall pursue thee. And for the violence of the land, all the violence that you had against your brother Jacob, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveted an evil covenants to his house, that he may set his nest on high. See, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. And that's all this was. them putting the gas prices up, them leaving the boat stranded out on the port, all these different things they doing, them coming with these man-made things, you know, that people believe they, you know, contracting and all this stuff. Like, that's all it was. That's all it was about. But it's the very thing that's bringing it into him, because people are going to catch on, and people are going to be taken out because he's destroying his own people. That's why it says the city shall be inhabited by the prudence of them which are in power. So if you're destroying your own people, they, you know, the city, you're not going to have nothing left. That's why I tell you in Proverbs, the 28th chapter and the 12th verse, you know, when the wicked, you know, be in power, you know, people hide themselves, man. And then, which is more spiritual, because when you go to Sirach, the 39th chapter, tell you how the city can't be inhabited without these people, these very people he destroying. You know, they got suffering. These all trust to their hands. They all trust to their work. All right. Let me see if I can grab that really quick. Let me grab that real quick. This is so yeah, let me see if I can grab this. All right, this is let's see. Let me see. Bear with me. Could have sworn it had okay, here we go. Call on like how about Shrimp outside? Cause the other translation fire. The other translation is complete fire. It's amazing. All right, so let's go to Sirach. All right, Sirach 39. I just want to show you this quick scripture. So if you destroying the people, how the heck, right? Which are the ones to where you are able to where you are able to have the city, the source of your power. You're gonna lose your power. You're gonna lose the source of your power. So this is Sirach 39 and verse. It says by these. Okay, yeah. No, Slakia. Sirach 38. There we go. And verse 31. All these trust to their hands, and every one is wise in his work. Without these cannot a city be inhabited. So America's on its way out, and they shall not dwell where they will, nor go up and down. So there it is. So here it is. They doing all this stuff to destroy these people. You know what I'm saying? These elite bankers, which is pushed out through the puppet, the guise of, you know, an old man be projected to people to be running, you know, the country and messing up the country. Come on, man. Some old Edomite, so-called white man. Nah. You know? Who's the face of the wrath that's coming down upon these people just so they could try to stay in power only to end themselves. So people can finally get them back, right? To ultimately end America through their own greed. So the city can't be inhabited without these people. So you a dang dummy, destroying your own people, man. All right, that's just really what I want to focus on, you know. So basically by the time, you know, I get to the video, you already got the understanding, you know. Sirach 10 and 1, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So there it is. Verse 3. A wise, I'm going to just read on. As the judge of the people is, so himself, so It's himself, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. But this is my point. An unwise king destroyed his people. See? An unwise king destroyed his people. But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Right. Because exactly. You destroy your people due to you not being prudent, not thinking, dang, if I destroy my people, I might end up not having a city. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that will be what? Prove that you're an unwise king. All right? So, let me see if I can get a song. And that take you to Psalms in the 2nd chapter. All right? That's exactly where that takes you. You know, the Lord said, why does the heathen rage and the people are managing a vain thing? Because they stupid, man. They're dumb. They're written to destroy themselves, man. So that's basically it on that, you know. Make sure I touched on everything in Habakkuk. Yup. So it says, thou, Habakkuk 2 and 9, woe, I'm going to start at, woe to him that coveteth and evil coveteth to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Right, these people, they hate the poor, man. They completely target the poor, and that's what you have to understand about these elites, these elite bankers, man. You know, you need to read Wisdom of Solomon too, all right? It says, Sirach 13, and I gotta get the one I have, because that was fire. Check this out, all right? This is Sirach 13, right? In a serious translation. This is Sirach 13, and I'm going to start at verse, let's see, 13, and I'm going to start at 2. What is too heavy for thee, do not lift, and with one that is richer than thyself, associate not. So these people, y'all have no business with trying to include yourself in these people's talks, you know, hoping for the best, and, you know, even considering the cloak of them considering you, which is really to get you to believe that so they can get a hold of you. It's like a trap, a rat trap. You know, rats chase cheese, man. And they know that. Y'all people in the rat race, man. But anyway, it says, what association can, it's like, I'm going to jump to the point. It says, verse 3, the rich man, if he perpetrated a wrong, plummet himself. While if a wrong is perpetrated upon a poor man, he must implore favor. It says, if thou art useful to him, he maketh a slave of thee. And that's exactly what these elite bankers did. They made people slaves with your birth certificate, about social security, your number, all that, man. Right? That's what the Emancipation Proclamation was about. It says, for so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, as Hebrew Israelites says, but if thou be brought low, he is sparing of thee. If thou possesses anything, he will live with thee, and he will impoverish thee without paying. Right? So that's exactly what they're doing. They're impoverishing people. That's the economy is completely collapsing. All this inflation is all by design. It's going to tell you, hath he need of thee, then he will deceive thee, and will smile upon thee and raise thy hopes. He will speak thee fair and shame thee with his hospitality. So as long as it profited, he will cajole thee. So I'm going to jump to the point. It says, verse 11, venture not to be free with him, right? And mistrust his conversation. So don't be looking to make yourself a part of the business, you know, forecast he has for himself, you know. And even if he was to mention you, the scriptures say what? It's telling us mistrust his much conversation. For by his conversation at large, he is testing thee. right? So a venture, once again, don't look to be in business with the so-called white man. Don't look to be in, in a future where, when he around. Don't look to consider a future when he of a supposed future that he's considering you around with him in. Mistrust his month's conversation, for by his conversation at large he is testing thee, and that's all pushed through. It's really it's the lies of the elite bankers pushed through you through the likes of these politicians that get on the TV and talk. They ain't nothing but mediums, medium, middleman. It says, for by his conversation at large he is testing thee. Right, that's all it is. They put these things out to see if people gonna buy in, right? If people gonna charge the snake so he can bite you. If people gonna get close enough, they can bring people close enough so they can bite you, man. Right? And infect you, get a hold of you. That's what it's all about. All this stuff was just a test to see if they could tell you this that's not really true, which is a lie, to get them to buy them time for what they really want to do and get you to buy into something that's gonna keep you asleep to what they want to do. And if you buy into it, show them also if they could do it. So it'll just be a bunch of surveys and tests because they're not bringing nothing out for real. But they do, and when they do, these people don't even take notice of it. So they meet with darkness in daytime. Broad day, they tell you the truth. The Lord says he's going to shoot at them suddenly and make their tongues to fall upon themselves. They was going to be wounded. All right? And that's exactly what they be doing. And at the end of these last days, in these press conferences and on these shows that's edited, they be telling stuff they forget to edit out. It be all type of slip-ups and typo. It just be crazy, man. It says exposing their plans, man. It says, and mistrust his much conversation, for by his conversation at large he is testing thee, and when he smileth at thee, he is probing thee. A ruthless one maketh peace while plotting against the life of many. A ruthless one, we read it again, a ruthless one maketh peace while plotting against the life of many. So you can have, and that's the so-called white man's resume. That's his track record. He known for making peace and he come in peace. And he only doing that to put you to sleep to where you won't see to where he can kill you, and to where you won't see him getting ready to kill you coming. So he can successfully do it and take what's yours. And that's how they got America. But that's why they're about to lose America, right? It says take heed because all that's going to come back and backfire. They sowed violence, they about to reap it. People going to look back and see like, oh, and you about to try to do the same thing again? Come on, man. Take heed and be wary. Take heed and be wary. And go not about with men of violence. And that's exactly what this is about. It says, like consorted with like. What common bond can there be between rich and poor? Now I'm going to jump to my point, verse 20. It says, an abomination is pride, right? Let me read 19. For the food for the lion are the wild asses of the desert. Even so, the pasture of the rich, a pasture is what flocks feed off of. So it's basically saying what the rich feed off of, the flocks of the rich feed off of. So even so, the pasture of the rich are the poor. See that? The poor of the earth is who they feed off of. An abomination to pride is humility. An abomination to pride is humility. These people hate. So they're the proud. These so-called white people are the proud, right? We jump to Joe Biden. What they consider abomination is humility. Being humble is abominable to them. All right? So I'm pretty much hitting everything. So like I said, I'm about to go ahead and hit play on this video. So it says, an abomination to pride is humility, even so abomination to the rich are the poor. Can't make that up, man. All right? So make sure I hit everything that I want to hit. I want to get. I had Isaiah 32. I had brought that out. That was a good one for this. And also Jeremiah. All right. Book of Jeremiah. Grab this real quick. Salaki. I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Jeremiah 51. All right. So the severe judgment of God on Babylon. We're gonna hold that. We're gonna also hold this. All right. I'm gonna read it. Isaiah 32 and 1. A king, behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. A man shall be as an hiding place from the wind. So why is it pointing out a king shall reign in righteousness? Because you have certain kings now that have set themselves, who are actually just heathens, Edomites, who are no kings, right, reigning in wickedness, right? They make things look like they go on, try to be in the stead of a king, which is someone that makes things flourish and prosper. The way they go about, pretty much, making that look like that's the case that it's being is by lying, by setting up stuff like they building, but whole time they tearing stuff down. Ain't nothing prospering. Every time they say something prospering, it's literally during everything being destroyed, everything being ended. And it's how they reign, because that's being the case, because they're actually destroying for their gain. They're destroying you so they can win. Right? It's not for a righteous flow of the earth. Like, yeah, you're going to have somebody ruling. You're always going to have people at the bottom, but these people reign in wickedness, man. So that's why this is pointing this out, because obviously it's kings that's doing opposite right now, and princes, and it's our Lord Yahweh Shai who's going to do this, right? It says, and princes shall rule in judgment, right? And we're going to reign with him as joint heirs, right? So-called Black, Latino, Native American, Indian man is in his truth, man. All right? First fruits, right? Lord willing, we be those men. Some of us is in this truth. It says, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest. Slaki. Is that what I want? No, Slaki. Let me jump to the point. Verse 4. The heart of the rash also shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerer shall be ready to speak plainly. So people gonna finally see the devil for what he is, because he's gonna be exposing themselves, man. Right? It says, and people gonna be done with this world. They're gonna be done with it, which is due to what they're doing now. And he thinks it's just gonna take people out, but it's gonna actually rise people up and have him lose control. He's gonna lose America completely. That's why it says, for with violence is Babylon shall be thrown down. The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. So there it is. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord Yahweh, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Right. And that's the people that are without drink, because it's manifold. So this chiefly to the Israelites, trying to get rid of the spirit, the scriptures. But you also have it on a physical level too. He's going to cause the drink of the thirsty to fail, man. He's uttering error against the Lord, saying, pretty much meat consumption is what's causing everything. The energy consumption. That's so they come with this carbon footprint crap. It's crazy. The Lord said, all right, we're gonna have meat. We're supposed to have meat. Meat is lawful meat. And they trying to act like the way that the Heavenly Father set up is the issue of everything right now. The global warming crisis that they push is all crap. Right? The instruments of the churl are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. But the liberal devise liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. So this is exposing that they devise things, they come up with these plans, they stage everything. It's nothing. They're not just waking up, living life, and that's what they're dealing with today. Everything they deal with what they create. They deal with what they want to deal with, which is what the Lord allows them to create, which is why they've been given a lot of the wicked, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play on this, and Lord willing, you see these prophecies manifested and are edified.
The Fed execute. Emily, that's the question. Soft landing? Yes? No? I still think that a soft landing is going to be pretty difficult for the Fed to execute here. I mean, inflationary pressures, yes, they're starting to come off the boil. But to your point earlier, Alex, we're still at almost 6% core CPI. The Fed wants to get closer to 2%. That's going to take some work here. We have seen the Fed funds futures market reprice September 75 basis points after that hot employment report last Friday. Now we're looking back at 50 basis points. That is still a ton of tightening. And in our view, this really aggressive Fed tightening cycle here probably still has some time to be fully felt in rates. It has some time to be fully felt in earnings estimates. So we've got a ways to go here in order to determine if the Fed can make this happen.
Emily, the knee-jerk reaction around all of this is to buy tech. Is that the right reaction?
Yeah, we think, Guy, that not all tech is created equally. So we're seeing a big divide right now between this renewed bid for lower quality, unprofitable tech companies. That's a part of the market that we would stay away from. The cost of capital is rising. We want...
Yeah, America's divided, you know, because that's a sign that the kingdom's about to fall, man. All right? Satan's house is divided.
In fact, we're really emphasizing quality growth companies in the technology space. So those with great cash flow, good return on equity, really durable profitability here as the economic growth climate slows.
So basically, this is about how basically the inflation went too far, and it's really going according to plan. But to the people that's actually watching, they got to address it from their lens. That from the lens they actually seeing it, which is dang, the inflation went too far, and you might be messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like we might have messed up, but there's hope. That's basically where they coming from with this, right? And it's that whole, Edom, when the Edoms say we are impoverished. Let me just grab that real quick because that's like spot on. Whereas Edom saith, let me grab that real quick. And that's these low-level Edomites saying this. This is verse, it says, Salakia. Yeah, this is, the book of Malachi. Verse 1, chapter 1, verse 4, it says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places, saith the Lord of hosts. Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. There's a lot in there. All right, so this is exactly what they're saying right now. We're impoverished, but we're going to return and build. It's been under inflation. And the pandemic had everything messed up, and these low-level Edomites believing and buying all of this, and they're going to wake up to the fact, the reality of the matter, which is they fooled too to the elite bankers. Because how is this happening? It's all by design. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to go crazy too, and that's how you're going to have that fulfillment completely of the house being divided among Satan.
I think that's really critical. Quality should outperform when economic growth decelerates because you should have those drivers of organic growth, and we want that in technology, but again, we want to be really mindful of the unprofitable growth at any price tech stocks.
So, Emily, I hear you on that. Well, what's interesting, though, with the meme stock resurgence like Bed Bath & Beyond, AMC, and GameStop, is that they were trading as if we were going to have a dramatic fall in yields. And guess what? We are having a dramatic fall in yields. So in some ways, they were weirdly right leading into the CPI number. But I also feel like it gives us another signal. Like, if we have that immediate reaction, have we not yet found a real bottom in the equity market?
So a lot of these companies is going broke, man. It says tech companies with great cash flow are more attractive. Right. Ain't nobody been making any money. See that? Hence going what? Broke.
I think, yes, they're definitely trading on lower yields, but there's also, in my opinion, a big
So what we're going to do, we're going to jump to the point now.
element here. So investors were potentially overly short. And they're coming back to the market. We're looking at investors moving again into more speculative parts of the market, whether it's cryptocurrencies or meme stocks. And there is a sense here that
the dollar is done. So yes, crypto, perfect. That's right on everything. They're ending it. They're collapsing everything. They leaving what was used to be money, and they invested in this technology and invisible money, and because what was once dominant, right? I believe is a hegemony. They is no more, man. Right? I believe that's the word I'm looking for. Let me just grab that real quick. The elder apostle. I forget which one went into that, but that's exactly what if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking of right now. All right. And I got a few more videos. Yeah, leadership or dominance. The dollar was a hegemony, right? That's what it was. It had supremacy, dominance, leadership. What was once hegemony, and hegemony is no more, right? The things that was sovereign and was leading, it had control, it had mastery, authority. There's power. They getting rid of it, man. Right? Period, man.
the market did bottom in the middle of June, and now is the best time.
And then, like the scripture say, he would cause the drink of the thirsty to fill, right? Well, they like to call money liquid, right? In certain instances, right? The cash, I believe, liquid you have on hand. I ain't trying to be too deep on this, but, call on like how about Shmuel Shah for letting me go back into it. Yeah, liquid assets, which deals with, it's been a minute since I went to this, right? The cash on hand, right? Cash on bank deposit and assets that can be quickly and easily converted to cash. Common liquid, right? Assets are stock, bonds, certificate of deposits, or shares, right? So you got examples of liquid assets. So it says non-liquid assets are assets that cannot be sold or converted into cash easily without a significant loss of investment. So jewelry, right? Cars, because as soon as they leave the car, the lot, they lose value, right? And it takes some time to sell a car. It says some examples of assets includes houses, cars, land, television, jewelry. And if this is what people have on hand and their money put all in, shit, they out of there, man. So, and that was due to the so-called white man who was ironically telling people like the house market was doing good. You should put your money in houses. You should become a house owner. A mortgage is a death trap, right? Cars lose value. And all he did was push out to the earth, buy cars. Money, cash, clothes, cars, hoes, all that crap, right? Through Jake, land, right? First of all, the Lord is going to destroy this land. So this is the dumbest land you can invest in, right? Which a lot of people did. TVs, flat screens, all of that, man. That's non-liquid. So pretty much through his influence, he caused people to not be on what's actually liquid. Like he caused the drink of the thirsty to fail. It's just spiritual. I'm not, just want to just point that out, man. He's doing it in every regard. That's my point. All right, and he being a damn villain.
Time to add risk. I think a lot of that sentiment, though, has been built on this better than expected data.
So people's pockets about to dry up, man, and they doing it, man. Like,
which is backward looking. And between us, friends don't let friends use backward-looking economic data. We prefer to use things like the leading economic indicators, which are decelerating right now at a pretty rapid clip. We think that there's more pain to come in terms of waiting for the economic data to bottom here before it's time to add more risk to portfolios.
Yep.
Okay, Emily, talking about forward-looking
Pain to come. That's simple.
indicators, the president is speaking about inflation. Let's take a listen.
Check this
We
out.
received news that our economy had 0% inflation in the month of July. 0%. Here's what that means. Well, the price of some things went up last month. The price of other things went down by the same amount. The result, 0 inflation last month, but people were still hurting.
See? And it's that simple. So as people thought they was cool, you had all type of energy bills going up. They basically saying, you know, I'm gonna just jump to this now. I'm gonna go ahead and close out. So pretty much, as people thought, I spoke on this in the previous news update watch, report watch, or report of prophecies, news reports of prophecies. People was, you know, that inflation tax reduction bill they Joe Biden administration was used to pass all of that, and it resulted in taxes coming off on gas. So pretty much gas went down. Gas and taxes on things in certain stores, like such as food, was going down. But ironically, like he said, the inflation was so devastating to where there's a lot of people who asked out now, but they ain't gonna show you that. They ain't gonna show you those people, right? There's people already living paycheck to paycheck. They couldn't afford another dollar. Something to be one more dollar expensive without losing everything, and they went on and made something extra, multiple dollars more expensive. So they asked out. So even though they have brought things down, people fucked up now. So you see what I'm saying? So it's just the devil, the city gonna be destroyed. People gonna see this, right? So let's hit play on this, and that'll be it. Went longer than I want to again, but it's spirit.
Another dip in prices at the pump. The national average for a gallon of regular dropped below $4 for the first time in months. And while we won't see gas prices that low in the city of Chicago, as CBS 2's Asal Rezai tells us, we're still seeing the numbers finally go down.
If you've been struggling with high gas prices, it looks like relief is here after more than 5 months of super high prices.
5 months. People didn't have a week. People didn't have a month. Ain't no good news. The good news is you ain't gonna suffer no more by the Lord. The good news is the Lord killing you jakes that want to continue to believe in the so-called white man. That's the good news, right? Taking you out of your misery of self-infliction by you continuously choosing to follow a devil that's seeking his teeth into you, man. Him basically killing you, taking you out of that situation where you're not being feasted on anymore, which we know you are because you're of the poor. No matter you're on TV, no matter you're dressing like the so-called white man, right? It's all going to be taken away. That's the good news, man. And it ain't no gas coming down. Man.
We're still seeing the numbers finally go down.
If you've been struggling with high gas prices, it looks like relief is here after more than 5 months of super high prices. Take a look for yourself.
And we just show how delusional these people are real quick. Jeremiah 51:8. It reads what? The severe judgment of God on Babylon. It says what? Babylon is suddenly fallen and is destroyed. How for her? Right. It's going to be suddenly destroyed to people that completely was set on the forecast of the so-called white man, fake vision for them. You know, a venture he was telling people about, which included everybody. I see this future. You know, he had a dream. You know, he created Dr. King anyway. You know what I'm saying? And none of the shit that he was telling people will go on to pass, even though people was completely set in it. People were going to be settled in their leads and etc. Right? Making Terry to turn to the Lord to see what the Lord was talking about. And in that very moment, in that very time, the Lord will come upon them suddenly. Like he said, make no tarry to turn unto the Lord, for putting not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come upon thee, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed. That's why it's going to be so sudden, because it's going to be when you people don't expect it, right? You're not looking for it. With his shit, when the stuff he was telling you don't come to pass, like when something completely different than what he was telling you come to pass, it's going to be sudden, right? The economy bouncing back, gas hit $9. You like, what the fuck? You out of your home, you know what I'm saying? And you was trusting this man. So Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Why you see? That's why we not invested in this place. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven, and it is lifted up even to the skies. And the so-called white man himself knows this. Right? He's forsaken this place. It's a God-forsaken place, right? And that's also why 1 Thessalonians says what it says. All right? Because I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. You know, Satan going to play. All right. 1 Thessalonians 5. See where I'm at on time. All right, Kyle. 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. It says, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief, right? A thief. This day is going to come, which is going to be in a way like a thief, or it's going to be something that you didn't see coming, right? Someone you wasn't expecting, and that will take you for everything you got, man, right? Why? Because no one knows how the Lord even gets down. When the world by wisdom knew not the Heavenly Father, man. So when that time, because it's not an actual day meaning time comes, right? You people gonna be out of there, man. You ain't gonna know it's on the way. You don't know who it looks like. You don't know he's coming to, clean shot, man. Right? And then y'all gonna think he actually a thief. Because Esau taught you that good, he put good for evil and evil for good. The whole time he coming to take back what's his, which is his people, his elect, and the earth, right? But ye, brethren, are not in darkness in that day, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are all children of the light, and the children of the day, we are not of the night nor of darkness. So it's that simple. All right. So, man, we hit play on this.
In the city, we're seeing lower numbers, $5.35 here now, when not long ago we were seeing prices at over $6 a gallon. AAA reporting the national average for a gallon of regular is at about $3.99 today. They say prices dropped about 15 cents in the past week. In Illinois, the lowest gas prices are closer to the Wisconsin border and in the southern parts of the state, where some gas stations there are seeing prices as low as $3.38. That's according to...
Like, people actually think they winning when they done lost that much more money. Like, you spent 5 months of exhausting more money than you ever had in the last however many years in a short amount of time. So now they go down, like, you're down. You ain't broke even. You know what I'm saying? Like, and shit's still expensive.
GasBuddy.com. We saw oil prices rise in mid-2020 as economies recovered from the initial shock of the pandemic, and then rising even more as the U.S. and allies announced sanctions against Russian oil.
All staged so they could take everything for themselves, the elite bankers, see? That's why this is happening, the pandemic and then the war, and then that goes on to tell you what.
Russia's more as the U.S. economies recovered from the initial shock of the pandemic, and then rising even more as the U.S. and allies announced sanctions against Russian oil over Russia's war against Ukraine. We saw record high numbers at the pump in June. Drivers here today saying they're already seeing relief on their pockets.
But simply they tell you what, that if the stuff right, that caused this is still around, stuff not finna get cheaper. It's gonna go back up. This is just a pit stop, man. Intermission, basically.
So it's a big priority. I'm happy that it's going down. I wasn't happy it was going up. And
you got a slave master on his hat whipping his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, unbeknownst.
do feel it an immediate difference.
Saying you wicked if you wear a polo or something like that. It's just the spirit of Jake. Jake just blind, man. That's my point.
Pocket.
Some experts saying prices are
And immediate that it's going down. I wasn't happy it was going up. And I do feel it an immediate difference in my pocket.
Some experts saying prices are dropping due to less demand, as many Americans are cutting back on driving as a way to cope with inflation. Many predict prices of gas could continue to go down. Reporting in Old Town, Asal Razai, CBS.
And they gladly mistaken. These people up for a rude awakening. You know, Jake done, bro. Jake is completely done. They so done. It's crazy. You know, he think the so-called white man saving him. Right? He don't have a clue what the so-called white man got in store for him. You know? He don't have a clue. So this is Isaiah 30:13. I got a couple more in 6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. You're supposed to be howling, but they don't know the Lord, right? If they knew how the Lord get down and who he got about to get down on, they'll be howling, which is dumb. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, right? And they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take a hold of them. They shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. But anyway, I'm going to jump to the point. This verse 9, it says, or verse 11, I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I'm going to actually read 9 too. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Verse 11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. Right? These people was losing their pride. Now they about to get proud again. But it's gonna be the Lord gonna finally, he gonna finally pull the plug. It says, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Right, and I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man more than a golden wedge of old fir. So people are gonna realize what was the thing that they thought was the way to compensate against this. See, she dead in her eyes, right? And you know, the things to invest in to keep their bread straight, you know, to try to survive this orchestrated inflation by the elites. To just, you know, keep themselves in power and destroy them, but to ultimately just bring forth the prophecies, which is the end of America, man, and themselves. Even though they don't even see it, they're gonna finally see, like, dang, the way to respond to that was what these men was telling us, man. Having the Heavenly Father, how about Shem Shah? All right.
We'll see the benefits of reopening. Well, man. You know, economic growth has slowed, but we're not in recession.
See?
Oil demand's outperforming economic growth as we still see the benefits of reopening. Think jet, think Asia Pacific in particular. And finally, and that's the big one for later this year, natural gas switching over to oil because of the...
So this, you could brush this on your own. China is currently consuming a lot less than usual due to economic problems. It's going to change, and the oil prices will skyrocket again. Also, Russian and oil and gas deliveries will be going down, right? Because if they stop delivering, which they clearly going to do because the beef is getting worse, right? The gas that's on hand here is going to be more valuable. So those that hold it is going to pretty much have to drive the prices up. See that? And it says what? This aged well. LOL, oil prices fell 3 days later. All right. It's funny. It's fun in games now, man.
Gas to oil. So it's not just power, but it's also industry. Second, Last year the shock in gas started in September. It's now been nearly a year. Prices have scaled much higher since then. Plenty of time to anticipate and make the necessary adjustments. So I think there's upside risk to that 1.5 million barrels per day. And that's why, especially
Yeah, when your house boss me out, shout out to the adjustment.
We're going to now add another layer that could be explosive upside to fuel prices this winter.
So, Damien, on the flip side, you're going to have more of the bears say, yeah, but switching from gas to oil sometimes is uneconomical. Also, you're looking at sort of sometimes the technology isn't set up in terms of refiners. What's your pushback on that? Like, how much specifically can we realistically switch in a sustained way?
Yeah, I think if you look at, first of all, the design of a boiler, allows you to burn a lot of stuff in it.
So they got this false hope, this wishful thinking, which is meaningless.
As inflation grips the nation, the United States
is insanity.
As inflation grips the nation.
And another thing you have throughout this inflation, even though most thing like the gas is going down, you got food prices rising, which is due to the fertilizers pretty much being less accessible, which is the fulfillment of Cain being told that the earth wasn't going to yield its strength unto thee, right? And Cain being a so-called white man. So pretty much farmers and people, they're not able to bring forth abundantly the food of the earth. And that proves that it's all staged for them to say ain't no food, if there was ever outright say that, right? Because the Lord never told Cain that the earth wasn't going to yield forth to you. The earth wasn't going to, he said the earth wasn't going to yield forth its strength, right? It wasn't going to bring forth everything it could with its might. It wasn't going to be, really anything. You got these small crops they're getting, from everything, man. From the different produces all the way over to, everything that come out of the earth. It's just not yielding forth its strength from the different resins, these harvests, which that go back to the trees, because you might say, well, dang, how that, but the trees, it's like everything's just weak right now. And it's due to the damn devil. So everything that is coming forth, he's just keeping for himself. It's not that there's nothing coming forth. He's keeping it all for himself. And he killing himself at the same time because it's due to him why ain't nothing coming forth at his full strength. So he's even hurting himself on what he can have, right? So he's just ending himself, and it's only so long he can sustain, as you're hearing.
The United States is already...
And that's why the earth is going to be, that's why the kingdom is translated from one people to another, because of injuries and riches and gotten by deceit, man.
Experiencing.
And that's exactly what we seeing happen. He playing himself out of power. We're ruling next. Israel. Yasha Allah.
By inflation on food. The United Nations worst case scenario calculation is that food prices globally will rise by an additional 8.5% by 2027. Part of those
2027
costs is due to more expensive fertilizers. Prices of some fertilizers have increased by 300% since 2020.
So last year it was around $270 per ton, and now it's over $1,400 per ton. It's scary. It turns my stomach a little bit to think about the amount of risk that our family farm is taking right now.
Energy prices go up, fertilizer prices go up, food prices go up. Farmers are being forced to pass those costs along to customers.
See that?
We're going to see what action we can take to increase fertilizer supplies globally.
We would only be able to feed about half of the global population without fertilizer. So it's essential, it's necessary. At the same time, creating enough fertilizer has a tremendous cost on the environment.
As world demand for the most used synthetic fertilizers has surged, stocks in the fertilizer space have soared.
See, and it's all bull, see? Because it's synthetic fertilizer. It's not even real. So that's why another reason why it's not yielding forth its strength. So you saw he threw these elite bankers, they done. It ain't that it's no food. They hoard into themselves. You can read that in Job 20, 23, 21, I believe. I know chapter 20, chapter 27 as well. They're done. And we're going to be straight. Isaiah 65 and 15. Also Job 5, right? We're gonna be straight, man. All right. So I would go into this right here, but I might save this because this kind of goes into that how they say in 2023 gonna be the year from hell, and that's the best thing that can happen, man. So yeah, the economy is completely collapsing. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out on these last scriptures I have. Lord willing, you have been edified, right? And Esau crazy because as it started, it's all coming back to bite him in his tail, right? And he doesn't even see it coming, you know, like a dummy. So let me hit a few scriptures really quick, right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, right? In the 6th chapter, all right, in the 22nd verse, and it reads what? It says, sown places shall suddenly appear unsown, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. The trumpet shall sound aloud, and when all hear it, they shall suddenly be terrified. At that time, friends shall make war on friends like enemies. The earth and those who inhabit it shall be terrified, because it's going to be so bad down here, and people, it's going to be manifest that the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. It says, in the springs of the fountain shall stand still, so that for 3 hours they shall not flow. And I'm gonna bring that out another instance. Now, I got a couple more. This is 2nd Ezra 16, right? Let's go to verse 29. It says, start at 28. For 10 shall be left out of a city, and 2 out of the field, those who have hidden themselves in thick groves and in clefts, and in clefts in the rocks. Right. That's the only way people gonna be still around. You know? By completely getting low, because it's going to get so bad out here due to what the so-called white man doing. So he about to lose America. It says, just as in the olive orchard, 3 or 4 olives may be left on every tree, or just as when a vineyard is gathered. Some clusters may be left by those who search carefully through the vineyard, right? So that's how it is, right? So in those days, 3 or 4 shall be left by those who search their houses with the sword, right? Because once you get what you want, you satisfy your need, you satisfy or appease the wrath of the one that put the spirit upon you to bring forth that judgment, which is probably you killing somebody, these people killing another person just to eat, right? Once that's fulfilled, you know, you might have, that's it. You know, it's going to be no more than that. So you might have some people that's left over that, you know, that's how, you know, going through a vineyard, you ate enough, it's food left. There's a couple months left. That's the only way you're going to have people still left. It's going to be that crazy. It says the earth shall be left desolate. It says, and its fields shall be plowed up, and its roads and all its paths shall bring forth thorns, because no sheep will go along them. And we starting to see the manifestation of that. People can't even farm anymore. Virgins shall mourn because they have no bridegrooms. Women shall mourn because they have no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn because they have no help. Their bridegroom shall be killed in war, and their husband shall perish of famine. Right. They fighting wars, and there ain't no food over in the wars they fighting. All right. So coming back here, 2nd Ezra 15 and 19, it says, people shall have no pity for their neighbors, but shall make an assault upon their houses with the sword, and plunder their goods because of the hunger for bread, and because, Salaki, of great tribulation. See that? That's the time we in. That's the time that's about to come. So the so-called white man, he about to have this he gonna have this place destroyed. Right? In the 18th verse, it says, because of their pride, the city shall be in confusion. And it says, the houses shall be destroyed, and the people shall be afraid. Ain't gonna be it's not gonna be an America left after this. So they're dumb. And if you let America be destroyed, you lose your power, because that's the heart of the earth. If you hit the heart, the body follow. What's the rest of the body? What's the body? Because every head got a body, the rest of the places. So all these other heathens going down. That's the end of the statue that Nebuchadnezzar seen that Daniel broke down. See how I am calling together all the kings of the earth to turn to me, says the Heavenly Father. People, they're going to realize at the end, like, damn, we fucked up. Damn, this up. Our plan's not going according. Basically, they're going to realize like Pharaoh did, man. We do err not knowing the scriptures, they're going to lose control of the will. They're going to be like, God, take the will. Their house is going to be getting broke through. That's why a lot of the rich, super rich elite ones, they're going to go into them bunkers, right? Because they know ultimately America going to get hit with nukes through all the debt that was procured by this place, right? And violence that was, brought out upon other places from this place, right? Hence, from the so-called white man. Right, so says God, from the rising of the sun, and from the south, from the east, and from Lebanon to turn and repay what they have given them, just as they have done to my elect unto this day. So will I do and repay into their bosom, thus saith the Lord. So there it is. So the Lord saying that these people actually are targeting us. They just go and take everybody else around as casualties that may be stopping them from getting to us. Right? And that's exactly what you're seeing happen. Everything that they doing is in target for the elect, the chosen of the earth, the Israelites, and then specifically the chosen of the chosen, right? The elect. See that? So that's basically it. I hit everything. So this is Isaiah 32, and jumping to the point, it says, or did I read that? I'm going to just hit this part one more time. It says, verse 6, the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against Yahweh, to make empty the soul of the hungry. He will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Exactly. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He devises to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right, but the liberal devises liberal things. And by liberal things shall he stand. So Esau gonna fall because he's not being liberal, right? That's why the Lord told us in Job out in here. Job 5, God is to be regarded and reflect in affliction. So we're gonna be dealing with affliction, but we straight. It says, verse 7. Yeah, man is born in trouble, as sparks fly upward. I will seek unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will commit my cause, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. We're going to be straight like it ain't even going on down here, right? Who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth water upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hand cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise, which is these Edomites that got their own wisdom, created their own wisdom. They drunk, right? He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. So there it is, man. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night, but he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Right? They gonna see like, yo, it ain't nothing we could do. Right? So there it is, man. So that's why where we at, and we gonna be straight. That's why he says in 19, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah, it says in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Right? So we ultimately go eat, right? When all this famine here, we gonna eat good. And then when the war hit, the nuclear missiles, we're gonna be escorted out of here on chariots, man. Like royalty. Thou shalt be hid Adawan Ratazah. That's what he's gonna do for his elect Israelites. It says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it coming. And that's the spirit we have on us. We promoting for the shit to come. We want it to come. We want this place to go down. We want these people to die. You know what I'm saying? Because they wicked. We want righteousness brought back to the earth. We want Yahweh Shah to reign. We want Yahweh Shah to reign. Because he's for our favor. He's the one that needs to be reigning. He the hero you wanted, man. Right? He the one that's going to give the Heavenly Father his glory. That he going to glorify us. Right? We gonna get him his glory. We the real Hamashiachim, the real so-called Christians. These elite bankers, they threw. The Lord already said when the day of his people gonna be willing to dead that power, and the Lord at his right hand gonna strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He gonna come take these elite bankers out because of what they was doing. He see everything they doing and trying to do, but they gonna fail miserably. And then we gonna get that power, and we gonna put it. He gonna lay hold of these people upon through our hands. All right. And I know I said I was gonna close out, but I gotta hit this last scripture. As it said in the book of Habakkuk, right? Habakkuk 2, the judgment upon the Chaldean for greed, right? So it says what? Verse 10. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul, right? You done hurt yourself. So all this stuff they doing was to end their own world, is to take them out, and they don't even realize it. The Lord is gonna allow these people to act up. They're gonna tear this place down. Esau gonna lose everything. Watch, and he gonna allow us to lay. He gonna have to worry about the remnant of the people that's gonna spoil him, according to Habakkuk the 2nd chapter, which is gonna be us, the elect, the hopeful elect, man. That's why he said upon Edom, he would lay his hand upon Edom by the hand of his people Israel, right? That's the elect, because though they be of Israel, all are not Israel. The Lord's talking about the Israel of God, the elect. That's who's gonna do it. We're gonna take them for everything they got. We're gonna start the new world up. So call Halam like how about Shemir Hoshai with Howard Kakadash. Till next time, Shalom.